Good evening. I'm Rohit Sharma and welcome to Desi From DC, coming to you every night from heart of Washington. This is where America's power corridor meet India's prime time to break down the political, economic, and global stories that shape both nations live from Washington DC. From Capitol Hill to Rise on the Hill, we connect the dots between what happens here in Washington and how it echoes back home in India. We begin tonight with the big stories of the day. Ex-Pentagon official demands Munir's arrest now. Massive Japan earthquake triggers tsunami warning. Trump hosts Kennedy Center honor ceremony. Paramount launches hostile Warner Brothers takeover. And JD Vance mocked over immigration hypocrisy. Good evening. Pakistan is upset again because someone somewhere told the truth. This time it's former US Pentagon official Michael Rubin who has dropped a truth bomb big enough to shake Rawalpindi's windows. Rubin says the United States should arrest Pakistan's army chief Asim Munir if he ever visits America again. Not welcome him, not honor him, and even just go ahead and arrest him. Why? Because according to Rubin, Pakistan is not an ally. It is a state sponsor of terrorism in all but name. His words, not mine. And that's not all. Rubin says the US should apologize to India for the tariffs, the mixed signals, and for bending over backwards to please Pakistan's generals while annoying the world's largest democracy. Let's break it down. For decades, Pakistan establishment has perfected a business model. Create the problem, rent out the solution, demand global sympathy, and then collect the money. Terror groups flourish. The army denies everything, and Western diplomats nod politely while signing checks. Rubin says this farce has gone on for too long. He calls Munir a man who presides over a system that breeds extremism and then blames everyone else for the consequences. Rubin asks a very simple question, the one that West refuses to answer. Why reward the arsonist and scold the firefighter? But here's the twist. Pakistan's establishment will still try to play the victim. They always do. This is unfair. This is biased. This is anti-Pakistan. Those are the statements that we always see that come out from Pakistan. Except this criticism does not come from Delhi. It comes from Washington. Michael Rubin did not say anything new. He only said it loudly and without the diplomatic sugarcoating Islamabad is used to. The world sees Pakistan's double game. The question is whether the US is finally ready to admit it.
Indians were the victim of terrorism. Asim Munir has to be designated by the United States to be a state sponsor of terror. Pakistan started the conflict with its support for terrorism. Indians were the victim of terrorism. Asim Munir should understand that the first rule of hole digging is when you're in a hole, stop digging. We haven't designated Pakistan itself as a state sponsor of terror. We see Prime Minister Modi and others across the Indian political spectrum doing is rallying to the realization that all Indians are under threat. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Munir. The fact of the matter is they live together successfully.
A powerful 7.6 magnitude earthquake struck Japan Monday evening, triggering major tsunami warnings across the country's northeastern coast and raising urgent questions about potential impacts on Hawaii. The waves as high as 3 meters are expected along Japan's coastline, while the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center is closely monitoring whether the seismic event could send dangerous waves across the Pacific Ocean to Hawaiian shores. According to the United States Geological Survey, the quake hit a depth of 53.1 kilometers, with its epicenter located 733 kilometers northeast of Misawa in northern Japan. The shallow depth and offshore location immediately triggered concerns about tsunami generation. Japan's authorities ordered immediate evacuations along vulnerable coast areas and sirens blared across towns and cities, warning residents to move to a higher ground. For Hawaii, the critical question is whether this earthquake will generate a trans-Pacific tsunami. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center in Honolulu has issued an advisory stating they're analyzing sea level data and earthquake parameters to determine if waves could reach the Hawaiian Islands within the next several hours. Hawaii's geographic position in the middle of the Pacific makes it vulnerable to tsunamis generated anywhere around the Pacific Ring of Fire. A 7.6 magnitude quake is significant enough to potentially create waves that could travel thousands of miles across the ocean. If a tsunami is confirmed, Hawaiian authorities would then immediately have to activate emergency protocols, including coastal evacuations, closure of beaches and harbors, and warnings for residents in low-lying areas. The travel time from Japan to Hawaii would give officials several hours to prepare and issue evacuation orders if necessary. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is facing the biggest crisis of his tenure as dual scandals threaten his position in the Trump administration. The deadly boat strikes that killed survivors of an earlier attack and leaked classified intelligence that potentially endangered American pilots, all while bipartisan calls for his resignation grow louder. The controversy centers on a September military operation where two survivors of an initial attack were reportedly killed in a follow-up strike. The incident has sparked bipartisan outrage in Congress, with lawmakers from both parties demanding answers about the military's rule of engagement and whether proper protocols were followed in targeting decisions. But the boat strike scandal is only part of Hegseth's trouble. An Inspector General report has revealed that the Defense Secretary shared sensitive details about Yemen strike operations on his personal signal messaging app, raising serious questions about handling of classified information. The leaked intelligence reportedly included operational details that could have compromised the safety of US pilots conducting missions in the region. The revelation has intensified scrutiny of Hegseth's judgment and adherence to security protocols, with Democrats leading the charge for his removal, while even some Republicans privately expressing concern about his ability to lead the Department of Defense. Despite the mounting pressure, President Trump continues to stand by his defense secretary, refusing to publicly criticize Hegseth or suggest any personnel changes. The president's unwavering support mirrors his typical approach to embattled cabinet members, backing them until the political cost becomes too high. Whether Trump's loyalty will be enough to weather the storm or whether the pressure will eventually force a change at the Pentagon remains to be seen, and the biggest question facing the administration's national security team. Hollywood's biggest takeover battle is unfolding now after Netflix's $82.7 billion bid for Warner Bros. Discovery Studio and HBO. Paramount today fired back with $108.4 billion hostile offer for the entire company, including CNN and Discovery Channel. Now, backed by Trump, Jared Kushner, and Saudi Qatari wealth funds, David Ellison's all-cash deal promises faster approval. Thousands of media employees face uncertainty as the January 8th deadline looms in entertainment's most explosive corporate war. Here's a report.
Hollywood's biggest battle just got brutal. David Ellison isn't backing down. Just days after Netflix shocked the entertainment world with an $82.7 billion deal for Warner Bros. Discovery's crown jewels, the legendary Hollywood studio and HBO, Paramount has fired back with a massive hostile takeover bid worth $108.4 billion. But here's the twist. Paramount wants it all. While Netflix only wanted WBD's studio and streaming assets, leaving behind CNN, Discovery Channel, and the traditional TV networks, Paramount is making an all-cash offer for the entire company. It's a bold, aggressive move that puts every WBD shareholder on notice. There's a better deal on the table. And the stakes? They could not be higher. This isn't just about money. It's about power. politics, and the future of American media. David Ellison and his billionaire father Larry Ellison have the Trump administration in their corner. The president has praised Paramount's recent changes, including hiring controversial writer Barry Weiss to run CBS News and even reportedly requesting a fourth Rush Hour movie. Follow the money and it gets even more interesting. Backing Paramount's bid? Jared Kushner's investment fund, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, and Qatar's sovereign wealth authority. It's a geopolitical poker game playing out in Hollywood boardrooms. For employees at CNN and CBS News, it's an emotional roller coaster. There was brief relief when Netflix's deal seemed to spare them from a merger. But now, Paramount's hostile bid has reignited fears of massive job cuts and newsroom consolidations. One CBS staffer said merging with CNN was the one thing that would make me genuinely worried about losing my job. Paramount isn't holding back. In their pitch to shareholders, they're calling Netflix's deal inferior, a mix of cash and stock of uncertain value and a challenging regulatory process. Paramount claims their all-cash offer provides superior value and a faster path to approval, with Trump's blessing virtually guaranteed. But Netflix isn't out yet. Their $82.7 billion deal is still on the table. And despite Paramount's aggressive rhetoric, there's no guarantee shareholders will bite. Warner Bros. Discovery's board has already rejected multiple Paramount offers during the bidding process. The deadline, January 8th at 5 p.m. That's when Paramount's hostile tender offer expires, unless they want to extend it. David Ellison says he's here to fight for value and won't back down. But Trump threw a curveball on Monday morning, lashing out at Paramount and CBS News over a 60 Minutes interview, calling the network no better than the old ownership. So what happens next? Two media giants locked in a bidding war, billions of dollars at stake, the Trump administration watching closely, and thousands of employees wondering if they'll still have their jobs when the dust settles. Welcome to Hollywood's most expensive grudge match. With Debangna Datta, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
President Donald Trump made history Sunday night at the Kennedy Center Honors, becoming the first sitting president to host the prestigious ceremony from the stage rather than watch from the presidential box. A star-studded evening honoring Hollywood legend Sylvester Stallone, rock icons Kiss, and disco queen Gloria Gaynor, with Trump at the helm.
This is the greatest evening in the history of the Kennedy Center. Not even a contest. And I'll tell you what, the Trump Kennedy Center, Kennedy Center, I'm sorry. You know, they tried getting Biden to do this 4 years in a row. They tried getting him. He said, I don't think so. Would have been very interesting, though, wouldn't it? I would have watched.
The annual celebration of American arts and culture took an unprecedented turn as Trump commanded the stage, a role previously held by journalists and comedians like Walter Cronkite and Stephen Colbert. Trump admitted he did not really prepare very much and planned to just be myself, citing Johnny Carson as an inspiration. He predicted record ratings for the December 23rd broadcast on CBS and Paramount+. This year's honorees represent pop culture royalty: Sylvester Stallone for his iconic Rocky and Rambo franchises, Kiss for their theatrical rock spectacle, and Gloria Gaynor for the feminist anthem I Will Survive, alongside country legend George Strait and Tony Award winner Michael Crawford. The evening carried particular emotional weight for Kiss, whose original lead guitarist Ace Frehley died in October of this year. Trump arranged for an empty chair as a tribute to the fallen bandmate. This marks a stark contrast to Trump's first term, when he skipped the honors altogether after honoree Norman Lear threatened to boycott if Trump attended. The Kennedy Center honors have recognized American culture icons since 1978, transcending political divides until now. Whether Trump's hosting debut lives up to the ratings predictions and reshapes this American tradition remains to be seen. First Lady Melania Trump visited Marine Corps Base in Quantico in Virginia on Monday to participate in the annual Toys for Tots charity drive. Surrounded by excited children and Santa Claus, she delivered a heartfelt message about the true meaning of the holiday season. This Christmas season, you and your friends and your families should wish for the ultimate gift, love, Mrs. Trump told us to a crowd, emphasizing the importance of compassion and togetherness during the holidays. And that wraps up tonight's edition of Desi from DC. This is Rohit Sharma for India Today and India Today Global. And if you're watching this on India Global YouTube channels, do not forget to like and subscribe the button before you leave. Stay tuned, stay informed. As always, stay curious. Goodbye.